Aerobic plate count or aerobic mesophilic plate count or total plate count techniques. So that is a basic enumeration method. So these techniques are that used for indicate the microbial counts for quality assessment of food products. For total plate count, the first step we need to prepare the food homogeneity. Right? So we need to prepare the initial suspension and preparations so that we have already discussed. Right? So we need to prepare 10 power minus 1 dilutions, the one part of the samples, so that we have to transfer into the desired volume of diluent. Right. So if we take 10 gram of samples, we need to add 90 ml of diluent. That will be called it as 10 power minus 2. If our sample is liquid, no need to worry. Right. So directly we can take 1 ml of sample by pipetting and add it to the 9 ml of diluent. Food homogeneity. Right. So various record of solid or semi-solid samples in the sterile blended jars or into a schematic bag. So we have to add 90 ml of dilute. So if you take 10 ml of samples or 10 ml or 10 gram of samples, we have to add 90 ml of diluent and blend for 2 minutes at low speed, approximately 18 or PM, sorry, 8,000 or PM or mixing stomachia for 30 to 60 seconds. And if you receive the powdered samples, so that may be weighed and directly mix it with the diluent and shake vigorously. And in most of the food samples, particulates meters that float in the diluent water. In such cases, so we have to allow the particles to settle for 2 to 3 minutes and then draw the diluent from that portion of diluent where the food particles are minimum and proceed. After preparation of the initial suspensions, we need to perform the serial dilution. Yeah. So the preparation of serial dilutions will be helpful to reduce the microbial concentration. Right. So the first step, we have to prepare the initial suspension. That will be 10 power minus 1. So from the initial suspension, from the 10 power minus 1 dilution, we have to take 1 ml and add it to 10 power minus 2 dilution, right? So add it to the 9 ml diluent, that will be 10 power minus 2. From 10 power minus 2 to we have to take 1 ml and add to 9 ml diluent, that will be 10 power minus 3, right? So that is a serial dilution techniques that's used for reduce the microbial concentrations for plating techniques. For plate techniques, it's a preferred method for enumeration of aerobic mesophilic count or total plate count. So for plate techniques, so before plating, we have to label all the plates with the sample number, diluents, date, and other desired information like who's analyst and what is the parameters, right? So after plating, so we have to prepare 1 ml of food homogenate and of such diluent which have been selected for plating into the petri dishes in duplicate. So please remember that the microbiological plating, the food microbiological examination, always we have to perform the duplicate plates and pour into each petri dishes that after addition of the samples, we have to pour the media, right? So pour into the each petri dishes around 10 to 12 ml of molten plate count alcohol. And that's within 15 minutes from the time of preparation of original dal. So after addition of the medium, so we have to mix the medium and diluent by swirling gently clockwise and anti-clockwise two and four tries and taking care while mixing we have to taking care that the content so that should not touch the lid. So after mixing we have to allow to set and after solidified we have to incubate in specified temperature. And we have to very care about the media temperature while pouring. So while pouring, the media temperature So that we have to maintain around 42 to 45 degrees Celsius. If it is higher temperature, so that will affect the result. If it is less than 40 degrees Celsius, the media will start to solidify, right? After solidification, we have to incubate the plates, right? So that is a protocol for the reference purposes. So we have to add 1 ml of samples or its diluent, and we have to add around 15 to 20 ml of media, right? So after solidification, after solidified, we have to incubate in invert position at 30 degrees Celsius for 72 hours. Right. And after incubations, we have to count the colonies. So we have to consider that 30 to 300 colonies and record the result. So the calculation count, so in dishes which contain 30 to 300 colonies, if the plates we are using 100 petri dishes. If you're using 90 petri dishes, that we have to consider 20 to 200 colonies. Right? So we have to count the actual number in both the plates of the diluents, and as per the formula, we have to count and report the result. After counting the colonies, we have to calculate and report the result using this formula. Right? So n is equal to number of the colonies and summation c. So summation c divided by n1 plus 0.1 into n2, close the bracket, into d. So summation c, so that is the sum of the colonies counted on all the dishes retained. And n1, that's the number of dishes written in the first dilution, and n2 is the number of dishes written in the second dilutions, and d is the dilution factor that's corresponding to the first dilution. Here is the small example for the reference purposes, right? So we have done the plating, so we have done the total plate count. So please remember that for food products analysis, we have to perform the duplicate planes, right? So 10 power minus 1, duplicate, 10 power minus 2, duplicate, 10 power minus 3, duplicate, right? So we have to take the average count and we need to perform the calculation, right? So just assume that. So if we take the milk sample, so milk samples, the first step we need to prepare the initial suspensions. So 1 ml sample into 9 ml diluent, that will be 10 power minus 1. So 10 power minus 1, we got a TNTC counter. So TNTC, that's too numerous to count. So if the plates contain more than 300 colonies, that call it as TNTC. Right. So 10 power minus 2 dilution, the first plate we got 165 colonies, and the second plate we got 218 colonies. And 10 power minus 3, so that first plate we got 15 colonies, and the second plate we got 24 colonies, right? So we are going to use the formula and perform the calculation. So calculation example, at the first dilution, so first dilution that we timed at 10 power minus 2, we got one plate, we got 165, and another plate, 218 colonies. At the second dilution, we timed 10 power minus 3, that first plate we got 15, and the second plate we got 24. Right? So the formula will be the n is equal to summation c divided by n1 plus 0.1 into n2, close the bracket, into d, right? So summation c, that's the sum of the colonies. Sum of the colonies will be 165 plus 218 plus 15 plus 24. So sum of the colonies will be 422 divided by n1. So n1 will be 2, right? So n1 is the number of dishes that's written in the first dilution. So always we have to perform the duplicate plate. So n1 will be 2, and 0.1 into n2. So n2 will be the number of dishes written in the second dilution. So number of dishes, number of petri plates. So here also two, right? So always duplicate plates. And D will be the dilution factors. So dilution factor that's corresponding to the first dilution which we got the result. So here D will be 10 power minus 2, right? So 10 power minus 2 is the first dilution which we got the result. So based on the formula, so 422 divided by 0.022. So the final answer will be 19,182. So we have to rounding the result to first two digits. So that gives 19,000 colony forming unit per gram, or we can report it as 1.9 into 10 power 4 CFU per gram or m. So that is a very important thing, the calculation method. So this is a small exercise for you, right? So please try to calculate and share your result, right? So we have provided the sample, so any food samples. So you have done the analysis and 10 power minus 1 and 10 power minus 2 plates. So that you got TNPC count. So that's you got more than 300 colonies. And 10 power minus 3. So that is the first plate. You got countable colonies. So 10 power minus 3, the first plate you got 242 colonies, and the second plate you got 220 colonies, and 10 power minus 4 dilution, the first plate you got 25, the second plate you got 22 colonies. Right. So using the formula, just to do the calculation and share your result. Right. So that is for the exercise purpose. So this is the result for previous exercise, right? So as the first dilution 10 power minus 3 to 242 colonies, and the second plate 220 colonies, and the second dilution that 10 power minus 4, the first plate 25 and the second plate 22, right? So sum is on C. So that's the sum of the colonies divided by N1. So N1 will be the number of dishes that's written in the first dilution, that will be 2, and 0.2 into 2. So that will be N2, right? So N2 is the number of dishes written in the second dilution. So that will be 2. And D will be the dilution factor that's corresponding to the first dilution which we got the result. So D will be the 10 power minus 3, right? So 10 power minus 3. The final result will be 2,31,363. So we have to rounding the result to first two digits. So that gives 2,31,000. So we can report it as 2.3 into 10 power 5 CFU per gram or m. If the plates from all dilutions that have no colonies and inhibitory substance have not been detected, so such a cases, the result is expressed as less than 1 into 10 power 1 CFU per gram or m. If the plates from the lowest dilution that's contain less than 30 colonies, we have to record the actual number and calculate using the formula and report the result as CFU per gram or m. This is a short video for total plate count techniques. Just watch